It's 6:30, we have a quorum, we'll call the workshop session to order. First, I'd just like to express appreciation and have the chief back with us here. Thank you for coming tonight. First item is public hearing number 1. The church has made some arrangements with different entities for parking, additional parking spaces.
I have a question. In the material, it says that shuttle service is provided for the 5 Sunday a month church services. And my question is, I've been contacted by some of the residents over there, and special services like Christmas and Easter also pose a problem. And my question is this shuttle service also available for those services?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Great. Thank you. That's all. My only question. Thank you.
Item 2.
Yes.
Public hearing.
Item 2. As I read the material, the city is exempt by the Department of Family and Protective Services for ages 5 through 13 for these type of festivities. And we also have another one called Extreme Camp. And that is for ages 12 through 15. And the exemption is for ages 5 through 13. And I'm wondering, is there another exemption that covers the 12 to 15, or is one necessary?
It's not necessary for that age group, and it's just a day-long program. It's not really a camp, and these standards are set up for the younger age group.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Item 3. Item 4.
In item 4, we talked about some of the improvements, specifically the alley between Purnell and, no, not Purnell, the alley on the south side of Main.
Right.
To what extent are those improvements?
To what extent?
Yeah, are we gonna take it full board like, well, not like the north side, but do we have all the property owners?
Easements and all that type of thing?
Right.
No, our understanding would be that they would dedicate easements or dedicate property, much like the properties on the north.
Right.
Then you would put in the full paving and bury the utilities like you've done on the north. And so it would be very comparable to the north side.
Okay,
So that's alternate 1A and B that you saw in the package.
Okay.
Is to do that part of the project. Underground utilities and to pave that alleyway and make it much like what's on the other side. And of course, you'd have the same kind of agreements with them to provide trash services and whatnot. I'm sure it's part of the conditions of the dedication of those rights of way. We'd be going out for all the rights of way, much the same way we did on the north side.
okay. But we haven't yet.
We have not yet. But we've communicated that to them. So I think they're expecting.
And you feel pretty positive about that?
Well, we could talk about that under property acquisition, I suppose.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Is there some reason that that the boarded up laundromat is being left out of this particular improvement? I mean, would it not be a good time to pursue the acquiring of that?
That's
or
probably a property acquisition discussion too.
Okay.
So would y'all like
adjourn
to,
that, yeah.
that's my question is, do y'all want to adjourn into a executive session to discuss those items before we, first we'd have to pull it off the consent agenda, and then adjourn to executive session and discuss that, and then go back out there and discuss it, right?
Yes.
So is that what y'all want to do?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes.
The one thing on this, Mayor, if there aren't any other questions I wanted to bring to your attention was the pricing that we did do for underground utilities on Main and, Main and Mill Street. Main and Mill Street portion of the project, the grant-funded portions of the project under the COG grant that involved landscaping and redesign of some of the roadway and parking spaces and aesthetics. What's not part of that COG project is any kind of underground utility work. And so we did that as a separate pricing with the consultants, and that number is detailed in the backup as being a fairly substantial number. So we haven't put it in here as part of our recommendation because of that very sizable number. At some point, you could probably add that to the project, but you'd have to do it pretty rapidly. Otherwise, the consultant's work would be thrown away to redo it for underground utilities. But again, at the cost of $8, $9, $10 million is the price tag you're looking at to bury those utility lines on those two corridors.
Any other questions on four? We'll pull that, we'll adjourn to executive session. Item 5.
Do I understand item 5 correctly, that in the previous contract for these services, that you could terminate the contract, and now with this new arrangement, the contract can only be suspended? Is that a correct
Well, actually, the way
understanding?
we look at it is it allows us to use suspension. Under the old contract, it was fairly black and white that if there was a violation, technically you were supposed to terminate the contract. So we felt like for some minor infraction that could be easily corrected, that was a little bit severe.
Oh.
And so we added the clause to allow us to suspend it. I don't think it prevents us from terminating the contract. But it
Okay.
allows us to use suspension in the event of an error that we can give them some time to correct, and if it's corrected adequately, then we can reinstall them rather than just take them out of the entire loop.
Sounds terrific. Yeah.
I'm fine.
Item 6. Item 7.
On item 7, all the modifications are going to be to the inside of the building and nothing is going to be done to the outside? Any modifications to the outside?
Eric, you want to comment on that? Or
Basically, the applicants are here, but they're using the building for the most part as is. They are doing some improvements to the parking lot, and they are doing some landscaping, some exterior types of things, but correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, but just using the building as is and rehabbing the inside and making it better, but no additional footprint.
All right.
Item 8.
Moving some dirt down there.
Item 9.
I think it's fairly clear, but this is basically just a prohibition on sale to minors.
10.
Got a question on that, Mayor.
Go ahead.
What started this? Does anybody know?
What started the state statute?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I've heard stories.
yeah.
I don't know if I want to quote the stories I've heard, but
I know it
the
was by
legislature
Simmons.
felt like it was too restrictive, I suppose, for cities to be keeping signs off of certain parts of their properties. So they,
And in the case of the city of Louisville, what are we changing?
we are altering the locations at this building, at the annex, and at the Herring Center, and at the Memorial Park locations. Those are the 4 locations that we sometimes or frequently have a balloting. And so we are laying out in a diagrammic form, which I think is in your backup, where on those properties you can put signs and where you can't put signs in order to
Okay.
comply with the statute. So that, what's driving it is the new statute.
Yes, but I was wondering, were there places that they're gonna be prohibited from putting signs that they did before, or vice versa?
No, they weren't allowed at all before.
It actually,
Put more signs in.
actually
So
allows you to
now,
put more signs
now
up.
there's certain locations that we're allowing and certain locations that we're not because of problems with the location being close to an underground line or.
Okay.
But
Other-
net, they're got more
They're
area.
better, yes.
More
yes.
area to
They
put
got more
outside.
area than they had before.
Okay. I'll just call Ron Simmons.
And on that same topic, in the backup material, it states that political signs can't be out for longer than 24 hours after early election and after 24 hours after election day. So when election day falls more than 24 hours, which is typical, I think, after early voting, does that mean that the signs have to be picked up within that 24 hours after early voting and put back out for the election?
That's just on city property.
On city property, they have to be picked up and put back out.
Yeah, at a polling site. is
Polling
Okay.
the
site.
key language there.
Right. All right.
Item 10.
That it was item 10, I think.
Item 11. Item 12. Item 13.
How much work has been done, completed out there at this point?
Eric, Renika, how many units we got?
How much work has been done on the brownfield? How many projects?
No.
This is
no.
this is the
CADG
Oh.
project.
2 buildings.
Extending they have completed 5 and they have building permits for another 5.
So
But
that-
they were supposed to complete 12 by December.
But they've completed 5?
They're not complete, they're not bricked. Bricks have been sitting out front for 6 weeks.
That's correct, they don't have a seal on it. Yes. They're fairly done.
I think it started 5.
Started.
Almost complete.
So they've started 5 and that's it, none completed?
Correct. I know there's no, we had some issues with them over, was it Thanksgiving holiday, Russ, or was it Christmas holiday? We had a little bit of vandalism over there.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving holiday.
Wasn't their fault. Slowed down a little bit.
Item 14.
Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to pass out a little flyer to the council members, just related to that, so just for your reference.
Mayor, I think we've got a couple of minor amendments to what's in your backup that James can address.
There are on the agreement itself. Julie has copies here where the changes are highlighted. There's two changes to the contract language from what's in your packet. The first, there's a line in the agreement that says if the event is not held, that Cloud9 will reimburse the city for any cash we'd already have paid. We added a force majeure clause to say if it's not their fault, if there's a tornado, if there's a power outage, whatever, acts of God, they wouldn't then have to reimburse us for that if they can't control the circumstances. And the second is they requested we add a couple of additional expense categories to the list of allowable expenses. The cap does not change, it's still $20,000 as requested, but we added two more categories that could be included.
So, do I understand it correctly that what they're asking for is for the city to be involved in this event to the sponsored level, and that includes a $20,000 budget from the city, or limit from the city, plus roughly $6,300 in waivers,
Kind of support, right?
in-kind support, so that you're asking the city for roughly $26,000, and your total budget is $39,000?
The budget is more than that.
Did I?
30, yeah, 39.
So the budget's
Money we
39, and
raised.
you're asking the city for roughly 26 of the 39.
Well, the in-kind is down below. And part of what the city is supplying is in-kind.
6,000 is not really part of the 30.
It'd be a separate, and the 20,000 is reimbursement for only for expenses up to that. And we are,
Air conditioning the tents, things like that.
Hoping to be able to negotiate
Yeah,
lower
we're working on
prices,
that
and
one.
we'll actually pay those vendors directly
Mhm.
based on the invoices.
Right. Yeah, I understood that part of it. I was just,
You are a substantial sponsor, there was no getting around it.
yeah, I guess that's
That's your question.
my point. I was, yeah, substantial sponsor, thank you. That's, okay.
One point would be, this is a first-time event, and what we would hope is that sponsorships will grow over time for the event.
Well, yeah, that's, I kind of thought about that myself, and it seems like to me when we have gone with other organizations, and the first time that they came with their proposal, we didn't cover to that level the event on the first go-around, and eventually, if it was successful, we increased our participation.
It's varied over
I'd
time.
say that's varied.
Yeah, there's been some where you've almost done 100% of the budget in the past.
Since
So,
I've been here?
Probably not since you've been here.
Oh, okay.
Since you've been here or since you've been here?
In this room.
Actually, if you go back last year to Chalk This Way, I'm not sure what the percentage was, but it's pretty high.
Cinco de Mayo is real high.
Yeah. Cinco was.
But that wasn't Cinco de Mayo's first year either.
No,
5,000, or it
And
started at
that's-
5, it went to 10?
that's actually
Yeah.
on
Very
COVID.
much
They-
now.
So in this event, we actually expect it to go down.
Yeah, I was gonna
guess.
say that Cinco in that context is more worrisome to me, that the preference would be to see your participation go down and the event become more
As opposed to go
self-sponsored.
That's what I just said.
and this is our second year, that's our first year with the city.
First year with the city, the first year you were out at the racetrack, yes, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't need to mention that anymore.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, item 15.
Julia, has anything been worked out with what's gonna happen with the Lewisville residents that are actually Dallas?
They'll be voting in Dallas.
Won't happen in Benton County anymore.
How this should, Benton County won't do our Dallas voters anymore.
How does that affect our cost, out of curiosity? Great.
Basically, Dallas is going to charge us the same price as Denton, right? Item 16. Anyone have any? Recommendations on appointments?
My recommendation is it Debbie Fu? Her last name is Fu. Am I on the right one? Yeah, Debbie Fu. Looked at both candidates. Debbie had participated in 2025 on diversity. She's kind of in the middle of the lifespan age group, which I tend to prefer because if you look at CDBG, it's all across the spectrum from babies to seniors. It's not to say that a senior can't address all of those, but somehow I just perceive a little better balance there. There was a concern with the other candidate about long meetings, and CDBG is nothing but long meetings, Mercy, and especially that application, that Saturday where they come in and do their song and dance, and that's a long day, real long day. So, but they meet every month, meetings tend to be long, and I think the other thing that struck me with Debbie, LHS graduate, she's been in Lewisville for a long time. I do think she may have lived in Dallas for a couple of years, even though it says she'd been here for 30 years, which may be explained by the fact that she's not 30, she's, I think, 33. But, so there's where the 2 years went. Because she says she lived in Lewisville for 30 years, so I had to figure out, how does that math work? But that's my preference, and those are most of my reasons. I also think there's some benefit in taking 2025 participants who have kind of emerged and gotten involved and now want to go a step further and saying, great, here's your opportunity. That's what we were hoping.
Anybody have anything else on it? Okay. 17.
Just have the one, right? Is Mr.
Yeah.
Collier? It's fine,
18.
I've got one little additional piece of information on 18, Donna, you want to?
Yes, Castle Hills does have a very nice meeting facility at the golf course, and they have offered that to us. They've actually waived the room fees, so we would just be paying for the food there.
For the what?
Castle Hills at the golf course, they've
Yep,
actually
just be
waived
paying for the,
the food, the
Food,
cost of the
okay.
food, so it'd be very similar to having the event here in town.
okay,
What date?
date.
And they're available on just the 17th through the 19th.
That's the day the days I'd like to have it.
7, are we talking March?
April.
April. Explains that.
Mr. Bright has said that he would make that selection, he'd like to give you a tour of the development.
Two birds. I'm good for that date.
Okay. Anything else, council?
Selection day.
Judy?
Thursday through Saturday.
Liz? Bob? Okay, we're adjourned. It is 7 o'clock. We do have a quorum. Call the city council meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the invocation given by Mayor Pro Tem Vaughn and the pledge to both American and Texas flag led by Councilman Tierney.
Please stand and join me for a moment of silent prayer. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to the flags. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
Under the Constitution flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Of course, now I only live a block and a half away. That's just sketchy.
Come from the sky.
Just don't drive.
These were my cameras.
Can I ask Todd White to come forward, please? I'm asked Todd to come forward for that special presentation we want to make tonight. Todd and several of his fellow members here at the city are responsible for this award. And it's a very prestigious award in the city. You'll hear in a few minutes how prestigious it is and what an awesome experience it is for the number of years that we've received this award. And I'll let Todd tell you a little bit more about it. The city of Louisville is being awarded the 18th Annual Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award for 2013. The city of Louisville has received the award for 15 consecutive years and is one of only 43 government agencies in Texas and only one of 58 cities in the United States to receive the award. The Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award is designed to recognize organizational excellence in procurement. The award is achieved by those organizations that demonstrate excellence in procurement by obtaining a high score on a rating of standardized criteria. The program is designed to measure innovation, professionalism, e-procurement, productivity, and leadership attributes of the procurement function and foundation. And I'll read this to you. It says, National Procurement Institute's 18th Annual Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award co-sponsors Institute of Supply Management, and there's several others on there. It says, listen.
Mayor, I'd certainly like to thank you, and I'd like to thank the entire city council for all the support that you give us throughout the year. It really means a lot to us. Thank you very much for the recognition tonight. I would at this time like to recognize our two buyers. They're in our purchasing staff. I'll ask that they stand up when I mention their name. I have Charmaine Jones, and I have Lisa Campetti. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank all of you so much for all your hard work. We know it's a year-long process. We'd like to appreciate all you do for us. And then if I could have Brian Hogan come forward, please. Brian. Once again, we have another department in our city receiving an excellent award. You'll hear about it here in just a minute. And I'll let Brian tell you a little bit more about it. But it just goes to show the tremendous attribute that we have here in our community, that we have team members that work day in and day out to achieve these awards for our community, which do serve our community and our citizens and make this such a great place to live. The city of Louisville is being awarded a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting award for the period ending September 30th, 2012 by the Government Finance Officers Association. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting. and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by government and its management. This is the 24th consecutive year the city has received this award. An award of financial reporting achievement has been awarded to the individual department or agency designated by the government is primarily responsible for preparing the award-winning CAFR. And I'll read this. Brian Scott is the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting presented to the city of Lewisville. I want to thank you and all your team members for all the hard work you've done. Thank you so much, you do.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, again, for the resources that you provide us to make achieving this award possible. I'd like to also thank the directors, Mr. King, Mr. Backus, and Ms. Barron, for setting the culture here at the city where it's become an expectation and not something that we just hope to achieve every year, but the expectation is there that we do it continually year after year. I would also like to recognize staff that contribute to getting this accomplishment. It's not a one-person task, and if I could ask them to stand. I have Marjorie Gilbertson, she's our AP supervisor. Donna Kurth, she's our internal auditor. Michelle Bressot, who's our senior accountant. And Nisha Walker, who's our accountant. All four of these individuals spend countless hours making sure the information is correct and make significant contributions to make sure we get this award.
Thank all of you very much. We truly appreciate your work. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing. It's a continued public hearing, consideration of an ordinance granting a special use permit for a columbarium on 5.38 acre zone single-family residential R7.5 located at 1897 West Main Street, further identified as St. Philip the Apostle Catholic Church, Addition Lot 1, Block A, as requested by David McCurley, the facilities manager. St. Philip's the Apostle Catholic Church is interested in adding a columbarium to the southwest corner of the building. The columbarium will be located in a small courtyard area and screened from view by the building and an existing stone wall. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the zoning request by 5-0 vote. In order to address concerns regarding parking within the adjacent residential neighborhood, the church has entered into parking agreements with several nearby businesses to allocate 60 to 70 additional spaces and will provide shuttle service prior to and following all 5 Sunday masses. And they did say in workshop session that that would also include the holiday seasons. Recommendation is that council approve the ordinance as set forth in the above caption. I did have some speaker cards here filled out. Mr. Joe Derrick.
Yes, ma'am.
If you would come forward to the microphone and give your name and address for the record, please, sir. We'll pull that microphone around a little bit to face you there and down for you here. Thank you, sir.
Is that better?
That's perfect. Thank you,
Can
sir.
everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, my name is Joe Derrick. I've lived at 1730 Canterbury Lane, my wife Cindy and I, since May of 1989. So I believe I can speak qualified to what has gone on in our modest neighborhood throughout the years. We've gone through HUD, we've gone through drug houses, we've gone through constant turnover of rental properties and neglect of rental properties. But now, hopefully, with things going better, I believe our neighborhood is on a comeback. We have a lot of homeowners who care about their properties. I'm here for the new homeowners that had no clue what they moved into. I know the agenda has already been approved, but I'm here for their sake. Without an HOA and with rear entry garages and drives, our neighborhood has never been one to unite or get to know one another. However, the parking has existed for a long, long time. I was responsible many years ago, no clue what the date was, for getting the no parking signs in that first portion of Canterbury Lane off of Kirkpatrick. My reasoning was trying to get emergency vehicles up and down those streets and around those corners. It worked, but what actually it did was it forced everyone to keep parking further and further up the street. You know, first came the school, then came the prayer garden, and everything took away parking spaces. And it's not that we don't want people to go to church. We have guests that we would like to invite to our houses on various occasions, on Saturday nights or holidays, and there's no place to park. It's not just Sundays. I commend the church for addressing this, but it's Ash Wednesdays, it's Saturday nights, it's Christmas Eves. Only this past Christmas Eve, my wife and I, after totally remodeling our home to live in Lewisville, we were trying to move back in on Christmas Eve, and I was asking people not to park in front of my house because we needed that space for a van to come into. And you wouldn't believe the grief that I was given. Now, nothing like was several years ago when the church had an Oktoberfest, and I wouldn't let someone park in front of my home because I was working in the yard. And as she walked past me going to the church, she told me to go to hell. So it's not, you know, they walk across our yards, they throw trash, they block our mailboxes on Saturday evenings, so we may or may not get our mail. And I just don't think any of you would appreciate this. Yes, it's a moderate little neighborhood, but it's our homes and we take pride in it. And even with the automatic approval, I do commend the church. What I have learned, if it is true, the church was built for 600 families, and I understand they have now more than 2,000. Right there is the blatant problem. Now, solution, no idea. You know, you don't tear down a church and just move it someplace. But what I'm here tonight is, as far as the columbarium, it's okay with me. It's not taking up any more space. But what I'm here to say is that the city council, nor should the church, walk away thinking that they have washed their hands and solved this problem. It hasn't. And yesterday morning, I happened to be trying to get out of our alley going to Market Street. Could not get out going west, so I turned east, came around, came down Main Street just as church was out. And what I saw was families jaywalking and running and dodging traffic. Some were at the light, but that's a long light to try to walk across. And so I think it's a matter of time that you're going to find some family killed out there in the middle of that street. So I thank you for hearing me. I'm here for the new people. They had no clue. I gave up a long time ago. But the church should not feel like that they have done their job. I think they've only started, and I thank them for that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Fred Chancellor, did you wish to speak, or are you just here for questions? Where is Fred? There you go. Okay. Fred Chancellor is here representing the church if you have any questions. And Father Raymond McDaniel is also here representing the church, is here. He's just not waiting to speak, but here to answer any questions if anyone had any questions. We have another card filled out by Jeremy Stevens, who is at 1865 College Parkway, who is in support, does not wish to speak, but is in support of this item. My only thing is I'll say is I think the church is trying to work with the neighborhood very well by doing these things. I think the problem we have here is it's a public street, and unless we put up no parking signs, which means no one can park there, then you can't prevent people from parking there. If they build a 5-story parking garage there on their property, people don't have to park in it. They can park on the street. if they want to, unless we put up no parking signs, which would prohibit anyone from parking there, and I don't think the neighborhood wants that. So anyway, there's some other things you could do as far as putting signs up there, but any kind of sign restricting, correct me if I'm wrong here, Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, but any kind of signage that we put up restricting parking would not be only for church members, it would be for anyone. Is that correct? Okay. Staff, council have any questions of those people?
Just one comment.
Go ahead.
Mr. Derrick, for understanding, putting an item on the agenda does not mean it's come to any decision yet. It means it's going to be discussed and then decided. So it's the placing of an item on agenda that opens that opportunity. It doesn't close it. And I'm not sure that you understood that that's what's going on.
And I do respect that. I'm not here to cause a problem. It's just something that I had to come say.
That's good. That's part of the placing it on the agenda, is to give people that opportunity.
Did you have anything, Mr. Ferguson?
No. Move to close the public hearing if there's no further discussion.
Have a motion by Councilman Ferguson, close public hearing, a second by Councilman Tierney. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ferguson?
I think one of the things that's starting to happen, but I would encourage the church to continue. First of all, it has gone out and made agreements with available parking in the vicinity that's on commercial properties, and I appreciate that you've done that. Those are very real agreements. They're not casual agreements. They're legal documents, as I understand what you've done, and I'm pleased to see that you've taken that action and that you've also realized that there's that possible risk associated with people crossing the street, so you've set up the shuttle, and I think anybody offered the opportunity to ride rather than walk is most likely going to ride. So again, I appreciate that you've done that. I would encourage the church to continue to reach out to the neighborhood, understand their concerns. Certainly that's part and parcel of what churches do, is reach out to their neighborhoods and try to find solutions for concerns and problems. So I would encourage you to continue to do that and to listen to comments such as Mr. Derrick's and appreciate where he's coming from. The other side of that coin is that just as anyone can park on another street besides the one they live on, so can people park on your street even though they don't live there. That's what makes them public streets. That's why they're paid for by tax money from a pool of taxpayers to make those streets available to all. And like it or not, one of the things that people do with those streets is they park on them unless it says no parking at all. So with that thought in mind, and with the request to the church to continue to stay in touch with the community, listen to concerns, perhaps meet with Mr. Derrick after this meeting as a starting point, I'm going to move to approve this request.
We have a motion to approve as presented by Councilman, by Councilman Ferguson. Second by Councilman Durham. Any further discussion?
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lewisville, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Lewisville, Texas by granting a special use permit for a columbarium located on Lot 1, Block A of the St. Philip the Apostle Catholic Church Edition, containing approximately 5.38 acres, providing for severability, providing a penalty, providing a repealer, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I do want to thank everyone for coming tonight, Mr. Derrick, you and everyone from the church, and appreciate your efforts to reach out to the neighborhoods and to try to resolve the situation that no one wants to cause any kind of encumbrance on anyone else, yet we do want to provide a place for everyone to come to worship. So we appreciate that greatly. Thank you. Item 2 is public hearing, consideration of an ordinance adopting camp standards of care in compliance with Texas Administrative Code 745.115.3, municipal for recreation camp programs. In the state of Texas, no person may operate a child care facility or child placing agency without a license issued by the Department of Family and Protective Services.
or a certificate to operate under accreditation issued by the Department of Family and Protective Services. The Parks and Leisure Services Camp Program meets all the criteria for the Municipal Recreation Program exemption with the Department of Family and Protective Services. The Texas Administrative Code requires the council adoption of the standards to care ordinance each year. This is the 4th year that approval is required with no changes to the standards. Recommendation is that council approve the ordinance adopting the camp standards as set forth in the caption above. I did not have anyone fill out any speaker cards for this item, so entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Have a motion to close public hearing by Councilman Ferguson, a second by Councilman Gilmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Vaughn.
I'm sorry, Mayor?
Yes, do you like to take any action on this item?
No, sir, I would not.
Councilman Durham?
Move to approve the caption.
Have a motion by Councilman Durham to approve as presented, a second by, who was it? Councilman Tierney. In discussion? Councilman?
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lewisville, Texas, amending Chapter 10, Parks and Leisure Services of the Lewisville City Code by creating Article 7, Standards of Care for Youth Recreation Programs, providing a repealer, providing for severability, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Visitor Citizens Forum. At this time, any person with business before the council not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the council. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Did have one card filled out, Mr. Ray Hernandez. Ray, you want to come forward? Name and address, please, Ray.
Ray Hernandez, I live at 1070 Grandy's Lane here in Lewisville. Mayor, council, city manager, staff, and the public that's with us today, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak before you. I come and ask that the city council, mayor, and some of the city staff consider joining the Lewisville Area Chamber of Commerce and our sister chambers in Denton and Flower Mound, along with the cities of Denton, Flower Mound, and Highland Village, as we join Congressman Burgess on a DC fly-in, an advocacy trip to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, to share the business community's concerns in areas of importance to our area. The trip is scheduled to depart DFW on March the 4th and return on March the 7th. And I just come this evening to you to ask that you consider joining us. I will get some of that information out to you tomorrow. Just wanted to have the opportunity to do that. And since I'm up here, I want to thank you for joining us tomorrow at our awards luncheon. We should have a packed house tomorrow. And as always, we appreciate the support from city staff and from our mayor and council.
Thank you, Ray. Do you happen to know when they might have an agenda set for that trip to Washington? I mean, the items that's going to be.
We're working with staff in DC right now with the U.S. Chamber to set the agenda just based on space and those kind of things. We just have the dates, we have flights and hotel and those kind of things locked in right now. We're hoping to have some of that other detailed information by the end of next week.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be self-explanatory by the council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. For a citizen to request removal of an item, a speaker card must be filled out and submitted to the city secretary. Did not have any citizens fill out any card, but we were asked to pull item 4, I believe it was. Wasn't it? Item 4.
Yes,
I'm sorry? Item 4.
Yes.
Councilman Durham.
Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 4.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Durham to approve the consent agenda as presented with the exception of item 4, and a second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we're going to convene into closed session for consultation with attorney on land acquisition and, what was the other item?
It's actually property acquisition.
Property acquisition. Okay. We'll convene back into regular session, and we'll pick up where we left off with item 4. Excuse me. Item 4 is approval of a professional service agreement with Nathan D. Mayer Consulting Engineers, Inc., in the amount of $755,804 for design and engineering services related to the Main and Mill Street pedestrian and landscape improvements project, and a design project budget of $778,478, which includes $22,674 for contingencies. Approval of a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $1,431,569 from available bond cash, and authorization for city manager to execute the agreement. The Main and Mill Pedestrian and Landscape Improvements Project consists of streetscape improvements based on the conceptual master plan provided as part of the Louisville Old Town Transit-Oriented Development Master Plan and the 2010 NCT-COG grant application prepared by Design Workshop and Nathan D. Meyer. Recommendation is that City Council approve the agreement as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Tierney.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve as presented by Councilman Tierney, a second by Councilman Vaughn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is item 7, consideration of a variance to the Louisville City Code, Chapter 6, Land Development Regulations regarding waiving the required engineering site plan and allowing a modified site plan for landscaping, access, screening wall, and parking for Long Acre Construction located at 411 Harn Drive, as requested by Von Booker, P.E. for G&A Consultants, LLC, representing the owners, Daniel and Carol Longacre. The subject site was built in 1955 as a single-family residence and until recently was zoned single-family residential, and a small portion abutting I-35 properties to the west was general business. On August 6, 2013, the Planning and Zoning Commission approved a rezoning of the property to office district by a vote of 6-0. The owner's desire is to maintain the structure as is and remodel the interior for their offices. The current GDO requires an engineering site plan due to the change of use. The owner's desire is to maintain the look and feel of a residence so as to not conflict with the remainder of the subdivision in requesting a modified site plan. A similar variance was granted by City Council November 18, 2013 for 517 Keeley Avenue. Recommendation is that Council approve the variance as set forth in the caption above. I do have a card here filled out by Stevens Jones, who is not here, is here representing the item. He does not wish to speak, but is here to answer any questions. He's with G&A Consultants. Does council have any questions of Mr. Jones?
No.
No.
Mr. Gilmore.
Move to approve as written.
Second?
Have a motion by Mr. Gilmore, by Councilman Gilmore, to approve as written, a second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just a quick comment, Mayor. I'm very pleased to see what they're doing with this property. Very pleased. It's going to look nice. Nice for the neighborhood. Wish more people would do it.
Thank you, sir. Item 8 is consideration of a variance to Louisville City Code, Section 6-103, regarding driveway width requirements of the proposed Majestic Airport Center Building 5, located at the southwest corner of Valley Parkway and Ace Lane, as requested by Jim Koch, P.E., Payco Koch Consulting Engineers, Incorporated, on behalf of the owner. The subject site is a 60.73-acre lot zoned light industrial within the Majestic addition. Majestic Realty is currently constructing the proposed Majestic Airport Center, Building 5, under a permit issued by the city. Majestic Realty is requesting a variance for a driveway onto Valley Parkway that exceeds the maximum width and maximum radii allowed. Recommendation is that council approve the variance as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Ferguson.
I'm going to move to approve this request as presented.
Second.
Have a motion to approve as presented by Councilman Ferguson, a second by Councilman Vaughn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9 is consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 8 miscellaneous offenses of the Louisville City Code by prohibiting the sale to a minor of electronic cigarettes or liquid nicotine, prohibiting self-service merchandising, and providing defenses as requested by Councilmember T.J. Gilmore. There are no laws or regulations prohibiting the sale of electronic cigarettes or liquid nicotine to minors like those that exist for tobacco products. Although the Federal Drug Administration is considering appropriate regulations of e-cigarettes, the city may impose reasonable restrictions on these products until a federal regulatory system is implemented. The proposed ordinance prohibits the sale of e-cigarettes and liquid nicotine to minors and prohibits self-service merchandising of these products. Recommendation is that council consider the proposed ordinance as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Gilmore.
Mayor, I've been working on this with staff since about October, and it's causing all sorts of consternation all across the country. It's not just here in Texas. And my thought on bringing this forward now is that if we were to wait for the state, that's another 18 months for the state ledge to maybe put it on their 6-month window. The FDA has yet to make any approvals, and they were scheduled to do that back in October. So this just seems to be something that we need to go ahead and get taken care of. I don't need to be seeing Louisville as the destination for minors to get nicotine. Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilman Gilmore, a second by Councilman Tierney. In discussion? All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor, go ahead. I apologize.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending Chapter 8 miscellaneous offenses of the Louisville City Code by prohibiting the sale to a minor of electronic cigarettes and/or liquid nicotine and prohibiting self-service merchandising, providing defenses, providing a repealer, providing for severability, providing a penalty, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Councilor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 10 is consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 11, signs, by amending the regulations related to political signs. House Bill 259 prohibits a city that owns a building used as a polling location from restricting electioneering while voting is taking place. The proposed ordinance establishes reasonable regulations concerning the time, place, and manner of electioneering on public property utilized as a polling site. Recommendation is council consider the proposed ordinance as set forth in the above caption. Councilman Durham?
Mayor, move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Durham and a second by Councilman Vaughn. Any discussion?
Just what we need, more signs. No choice, go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor. I beg your pardon, ma'am.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Louisville, Texas, amending Chapter 11 signs of the Louisville City Code by amending the regulations related to political signs, providing for a repealer, providing for severability, providing a penalty, providing an effective date, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, ma'am. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11 is continued item consideration of a brownfields assessment program application for the property located at the northwest corner of the intersection of East Main Street and North Keeley Street, further identified as Keeley Addition, Block 3, Lots 3, 6, 7, and 8, as requested by LFM LLC, the property owner. Since the city was awarded brownfields assessment funds in September 2009, staff has been working with property owners and potential buyers to facilitate investigation for petroleum and hazardous material contaminants. The Louisville Feed Mill has submitted an application for participation in the program. The Brownfields Advisory Committee unanimously recommended approval of this Brownfield Assessment Program application at its meeting on December 3rd, 2013. Recommendation is that the City Council approve the application as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Vaughn?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the application as set forth in the caption.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Vaughn to approve as presented, second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12 is consideration of a preliminary plat of Castle Hills, Tract E2 South, a 63.404 acre parcel designated multifamily 3 with 2 lots located south and east of the intersection of Windhaven Parkway and Castle Hills Drive with 2 associated variances as requested by Land Design Incorporated representing the property owner. The plat is for a new multifamily development that will conform to the requirements of the multifamily 3 zoning district. The applicant has applied for the following variances request: to allow a street, drainage, pedestrian, and utility easement in lieu of the required right-of-way dedication for deceleration and right turn lane along Windhaven Parkway. B, to allow the use of the existing 6-foot-high wood fence with masonry columns for the required screening between the multifamily and the residential development on the western boundary. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat and variances by a vote of 5-0 at its January 7th, 2014 meeting. Recommendation is that council approve the plat and variances as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Tierney.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Tierney to approve as presented, second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13 is consideration of an amendment to extend the economic development agreement between the City of Louisville and CADG Louisville, LLC. The city executed an agreement with CADG Louisville, LLC on August 20th, 2012 for development of Belleville Village, a 70-unit townhouse project in Old Town Louisville. CADG Louisville, LLC has requested a 6-month extension of the completion dates under the terms of the agreement. The amendment grants an extension to the completion dates of Phase 1 to June 30th, 2014, and the completion dates for the entire project to June 30th, 2018. Recommendation is that council approve the amendment as set forth in the caption above. Councilman Gilmore.
Move to approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Gilmore to approve as written, a second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, consideration of an agreement to provide financial support up to $20,000 from the Hotel Occupancy Tax Fund for Best Little Brewfest in Texas, as requested by Cloud9 Charities, in consideration of a supplemental appropriation from the Hotel Motel Fund in the amount of $20,000. Cloud9 Charities will hold its annual Best Little Brewfest in Texas in Old Town Louisville on Saturday, June 21st. City Council has approved in-kind support for the event, including the use of city equipment and marketing outlets. The event committee has requested cash support from the city up to $20,000 to fund other festival costs such as tent and generator rentals and vertical pole banners. Money is available for a one-time appropriation from the Hotel Motel reserves. Recommendation is that council consider the agreement and supplemental appropriation as set forth in the caption above. I do have several cards here filled out. First one is Kim Cloud. She does wish to speak. If you come forward, Kim, and give your name and address for record, please.
Hello, I'm Kim Cloud, 219 Barkley, Hickory Creek 75065, and I come proudly representing Cloud9 Charities. And we've got lot of events coming up this year that we raise money for local needs in our community and give the proceeds and keep all the money local. We're very proud of that. Last year we reached our $1 million marker, but we're here tonight to talk about the Best Little Brew Fest in Texas and your financial support.
That'll be my part. I'm Daner Stinson, and thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and discuss
Dana,
this.
if you will, give your address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. I live at 3005 Trailwood Lane, Flower Mound, Texas.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. The Brewfest last year was our first year, and we had about 1,200 in attendance out at Texas Motor Speedway. And this year, thankfully and gladly, we were invited by the city of Lewisville to be here. And we think it's a great partnership, and we really appreciate what you've done for us already. We really look forward to and hope that you will sponsor us for this event. We plan on this year having 4,000 people at the event. We've been working very well with James Kunke and Donna Barron and helping us a lot with planning out the logistics of the event, and we're really excited. Last year, we have this year about 25 committee members working with us on various details of the event. Last year, we had over 130 volunteers to work the event for us. And so that's only going to grow because in our sponsorship last year, with cash sponsors and in-kind sponsors, we probably had 15 different ones, and that's also going to be growing. As I've been out and about in the last few months and few weeks specifically, our redesigned website has drawn a lot of attention. I don't know if anyone here has access to the internet, but you could go to blbfit.com, and instantly you'll pull up our website and see the beautiful work that's been done there to redesign that. We've redesigned our logo specifically because of the 8 digital billboards that the city has and was going to allow us to use moving forward. So we redesigned our logo to help better visibility for the public to see. It's all over town. People are talking to me about it all the time. Every place I go, I hear about it. Anytime I wear a shirt or T-shirt, my vehicle has the logo on it. People stop me. People walk up and look at it. And the excitement is really growing. Part of what's going to happen this year to differentiate us from last year as well as from other brew festivals that are in the area is we are adding a professional brewers competition. There's one competition that takes place in Denver, Colorado, that's kind of the biggest one in the country. And our goal is to make Lewisville the second biggest. And I think we can do that. We have a team of people that can pull that together. I've already met with certified beer judges. I've already discussed it with professional brewers, and the excitement in their area is just phenomenal. This will set us apart from every other beer festival that's taking place in the Metroplex and in the state, and I think it will propel us to the next level. Your sponsorship will also help us get the marketing out there and get us to the next level. One of the things, I passed out a minute ago a little flyer that looks something like this, and this is kind of what we're able to do right now. But your sponsorship, I've asked actually a couple of our committee leaders who have helped us to kind of show you how you're going to get us from this little flyer to this right here with Cloud9 Charities and the Best Little Brew Fest in Texas. So this is where we're going to be going, and your help and support is going to be so appreciated in getting us there.
I noticed that Louisville is in smaller letters than the rest. I think we could maybe make that a little bit larger letters.
We can work with you on that. We will be glad to work with you on that. But we just want to say, this is kind of a humorous way to say thank you for getting us to the next level, and we do hope that this will go through, and we are very appreciative of you allowing us to be here tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council, have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I do have some cards here filled out of people that did not wish to speak but are in support of this item. If I misspell your name, it's because I'm having a little difficulty reading your handwriting. But Matt Pennington, 146 Valley View Drive in Lewisville, Texas. Kevin Mahayu, 101 Blue Bonnet Drive, Highland Village, Texas. Mark Wagner, 2509 Amber in Flower Mound, Texas. Paula Wagner, 2504 Amber Lane, Flower Mound, Texas. Donald Harvey, 601 Hill Drive, Aubrey, Texas. Stacy Mahayu, 101 Bluebonnet Drive, Highland Village, Texas. Erica Jimenez, 2818 Spring Oaks Drive, Highland Village, Texas. And Adam Weeks, 1947 Rambling Ridge, Carrollton, Texas. All those did not wish to speak were in support. Councilman Ferguson.
Yes, sir. Just a few quick comments. First of all, I think everybody who knows me knows I'm very big on trying to do things that attract visitors. I'm very excited about this event. It has proven history of success and drawing visitors, and that's a good thing. I would say there's a lot of national buzz about craft beers, but y'all might misinterpret that line. So let's just say there's a lot of interest in it. It's certainly a great opportunity, I think, for the city of Louisville. And Ms. Cloud, you have a history of being able to organize and successfully pull off a lot of fundraising events, and I think all of us appreciate the things that Cloud9 has been able to donate money to. And so with that in mind, I very much move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilman Ferguson, second by Mr. Gilmore, Councilman Gilmore. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15 is consideration of resolution calling the May 10, 2014 Louisville City Council general election, authorizing an election calendar and authorizing for the mayor to sign the election order. An election calendar has been prepared for the May 10, 2014 City Council election, which will include place number 1 and 3 on the ballot. State law requires that canvassing of the election be held between the 3rd and 11th day following an election. City staff recommends conducting the canvassing at the City Council meeting scheduled for May 19, 2014. Denton County Elections Administration recently advised they would no longer be able to assist with Louisville residents that reside within Dallas County. City staff will be meeting with both counties in the coming weeks, and an item authorizing contracts for election services with both Denton and Dallas counties will be brought back for City Council consideration. These contracts will address polling locations for both early voting and election day. Recommendation council approve the proposed resolution and election calendar as set. Councilman Vaughn.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the proposed resolution and election calendar as stated in the caption.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Vaughn to approve, a second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 16 is consideration of acceptance of resignation of Steve Hill from place number 7 on the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee. Declare vacancy exists on the CDBG in consideration of an appointment to place number 7 on the CDBG. Steve Hill has submitted his resignation from place number 7 on the CDBG due to conflicts in his business schedule. City Council will need to declare a vacancy, consider a new appointment to fill this vacancy. We certainly do want to thank Mr. Hill for his time and work with the CDBG committee. It is quite an extensive job working on that committee, probably the most laborious job that we have here in the city on one of the committees that we have, and we certainly appreciate his time and effort that he's done on this. Councilman Ferguson.
Yes, sir. I move to declare a vacancy and to appoint Debbie Fu to that vacancy.
Had a motion by Councilman Ferguson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilmore. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, consideration of appointment to alternate place number 1 and alternate place number 2 on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. On October 21st, 2013, City Council declared a vacancy in alternate place number 1 and number 2 of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. At that time, there were no applicants interested in serving on this board. City staff has been diligently searching for individuals to fill both of these positions. At this time, city staff has only received an application from James Collier, who has indicated his interest in serving on the ZBOA. Both vacancies can be filled should the City Council have any other individuals they wish to appoint. Recommendation is council consider appointments as set forth in the above caption. Councilman Tierney.
Mayor, I make a motion to appoint James Collier to the ZBOA.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Tierney and a second by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 18 is consideration of dates for the annual City Council retreat. Each year, the City Council retreat is normally held on a Thursday through Saturday time frame during the first or second week of February. This year, the retreat is being held later than normal in order to discuss the Vision 2025 results. The first set of dates proposed is Thursday, April 3rd through Saturday, April 5th. The gallery space in the Medical Center of Louisville Grand Theater is available for those dates. The Hilton Garden Inn is not available as an option, nor is the Worthington Hotel where prior council retreats have been held. An alternative location available in the Plano is the Plano Marriott at Legacy Town Center. Alternate dates for the council retreat would be April 17th through April 19th. The Hilton Garden Inn, MCO Grand, and the Plano Marriott at Legacy Town Center are not available for those alternate dates. However, the Worthington Hotel is available. In addition, the Lakes of Castle Hills Clubhouse, Hilton at South Lake Town Center, and the new Omni Hotel in Fort Worth are available for the April 17th, 19th dates. Recommendation is council review the available dates and locations and direct staff as to what date and location is preferred. Councilman Durham.
Mayor, I move that we have the City Council retreat April the 17th through the 19th, 2014 at the Worthington Hotel.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Durham for the, which it is, says it is available, Worthington Hotel.
Okay, that's what I was.
On April 17th through April the 19th, correct? Have a motion for that by Councilman Durham, a second by Councilman Tierney. Oh, was it Tierney? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were pointing at each other. Councilman Tierney. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I believe with, we're going to have a lot of residents who might want the opportunity with the 2025 plan being discussed. And I just think that taking it out of town creates an undue burden for those folks. So I'm going to be against having it anywhere, either outside of the city. I'd either want it, the furthest I'd be willing to go on this list is Castle Hills.
Mayor?
Any other discussion?
Yes, sir. In your list, I don't think you added that Castle Hills location and dates.
In addition, the Lakes at Castle Hills Clubhouse.
Okay. I am inclined to the Castle Hills location for the reasons that Councilman Gilmore named. Also, I think we obviously have a relationship with Castle Hills, and it would be useful to extend that opportunity to that location. It does provide a convenience for citizens to attend the meeting, and I definitely agree with 2025 just happening. I think we're going to see some increased interest. That would be my preference.
Mayor, I support Councilman Ferguson and Councilman Gilmore for the reasons that they stated. I support the Castle Hills Clubhouse and the dates April the 17th through the 19th.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Nay?
Nay.
We have motion fails by count of 3-2. Get that, too? Okay. Entertain another motion?
Yes, a motion to hold the retreat at Castle Hills on the 17th through 19th.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Ferguson to hold the retreat 17th through the 19th at Castle Hills, second by Councilman Gilmore. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Okay, that brings us down to retreats. Nika. I mean, reports, I'm sorry, retreats. Yeah, we're going on a retreat, Nika.
Nika's going on a
You have any
retreat.
reports? Bob? Chief, sure good to see you back, sir. Looking well.
Mayor, and if I could just take a minute
You
just to
bet.
say thank you to you, the council, all the directors, and all other city employees for all the positive thoughts and prayers and emails and visits and phone calls and text messages. I know there's no way I can properly thank everybody for all that, but I will tell you that that's the reason I'm here today, and everything's moving positive is because of all that. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to publicly say thank you.
You're quite welcome, sir, and we thank you for all that you've done all the many years and what I know you're going to continue to do for the city in the future years. Thank you very much, Chief. Linda? Chief? Carol? Nothing? Donna? I'm sorry? Nothing new, huh? Still need that rain, don't we?
Want to tell us the lake's 2/3 down? Okay.
That's pretty good. I like the way she said that. It's better. I like that better. Donna? Brenda? Mr. Ferris? Mr. Backus? Councilman Durham?
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Tierney?
Nothing, sir.
Councilman Gilmore?
Mayor, I did, since we brought up the 2025, I wanted to extend a thank you. Those groups have buttoned down. There's only a couple of small meetings left, I believe, before that starts percolating up towards council. But there's been over 20 meetings of the 4 different groups, connectivity, diversity, growth, and resources, upwards of 50 residents, both old and new, that have participated in this. I'm really looking forward to the feedback that we're going to get and the direction we'll have. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. King? Councilman Ferguson?
Yes, sir. Got a few announcements about the MCL Grand. First of all, Chief Tittle, it's just always nice to look across and see you. So I've told you that before, but I just get accustomed to seeing you and Chief Curbo sitting there, and it bothers me when I don't see both of you. So concerts coming up the MCL Grand, something called Fingal's Cave. I hope I'm saying that right, February 21st. You'd think I'd know because it's Louisville Lake Symphony, and I'm the chair of that group, but sometimes they don't tell me how to pronounce things. So February 23rd, 7:30 in the evening. You can go online and get tickets at louisvillesymphony.org. On February 22nd, the next day, 2-Bit Palomino, which is, I think, a fairly new group formed in the last couple of years or so, or maybe a little less than 2 years, has won several awards. I haven't heard them before, but I've heard they're very good. And that's part of the Texas Tune Series. It'll be at the MCL Grand on Saturday, the 22nd at 8 o'clock. Doesn't say here, but I think it's 8 o'clock. And then there's a songwriter workshop featuring 2-Bit Palomino also on the 22nd. Requires advanced registration. Don't have any other information on that, but you can always go to mclgrand.com and find out what you need to know. So I want to take a look into that if you like music and like performing it. Visual Arts League, related to that, is going to have their acoustic jam on Friday nights. That continues, and it's a lot of fun. Encourage you to go. Art exhibits, we've got the LISD art exhibit that we do every year. High school is in there right now, or actually it opens on the 31st, but it's going to be there real quick. Gallery hours Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m., and also always open anytime there's public performances going in the MCL Grand, and that's all I have. Otherwise, I also want to thank our 2025 participants and appreciate all their hard work. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Vaughn?
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilor? Julie? Officer, once again, we appreciate you being here and the work you do each and every day. If you'll pass that on to your fellow workers, I would appreciate that also. Thank you. And I also want to say thank you to the 2025. It's not quite wound up, but it's getting close to the end. And it was really great to see the citizens step forward. This was not something that was intended for the council to do or to step out there and take a leadership role in it, because we were trying to get the input from the citizens. And then once we get some of that finalized, which I think is going to be the end of March, 25th, I believe, I think is something like that is the final date.
Certainly before the retreat.
We have another follow-up with the committees on February 25th, and then the next step would be to the council.
Right. So we do appreciate all that work that you've done on that. I appreciate all the phone calls and suggestions that people have given me, and certainly have made note of them. But we also want you to be sure that you express those to the committees and stuff. And that's the reason I don't attend those, because I don't want anybody to feel intimidated or anything like I'm trying to run the show. It's not. It's your 2025 committee, and we look forward to working with you to implement your ideas and thoughts that you've come forward with. With that, and in conjunction with Texas Government Code Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney pending litigation, City of Louisville versus City of Farmers Branch, and Camelot Landfill TXLP, cause number 412-CV-00782, United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas, Sherman Division, and Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, application to obtain municipal solid waste permit amendment, permit number 1321B, Section 551.072, property acquisition, and Section 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. We will now convene into closed session.
Explain that to my wife when I lived in Singapore. I'll tell you that story sometime.
Convene back in regular session. Is there any action to be taken, council?
Move to adjourn.
Have a motion by Councilman Ferguson to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilman Gilmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.